All right, let's dive into one of the most famous and, let's be real, controversial books out there, Robert Greene's The 48 Laws of Power. This book is basically a handbook on the strategies of power, and today we're going to unpack the psychology behind some of its most fascinating rules. You ever find yourself wondering about this? I mean, you see someone who's just brilliant. They work harder than anyone you know, but they seem to be stuck in place. And then you see others who just glide through life, gaining influence almost effortlessly. Well, that exact question is really at the heart of what this book gets into. Look, our goal here isn't to say these laws are good or bad. Not at all. Instead, we're going to dig into the psychology they are built on. Think of this as a look at the unspoken rules of the game. You know, the way people interact in competitive spaces, whether that's the office or the world stage. Okay, so the first big theme in the book is all about perception. It's this idea that your public image isn't just some side effect of what you do. It's an actual tool. It's maybe your most powerful asset, and something you have to actively build and protect. So, the laws that fit this idea are all about taking control of how people see you. They're based on this concept that power is often given to people based on how they appear, not just on the reality of who they are. Let's look at a few. Let's really get into the psychology of this one. Whether you're in an office or just a group of friends, the person in charge is often, well, a little touchy about their position. So if someone junior to them, even with the best intentions, makes them feel less smart or less capable, it can trigger some serious insecurity and envy. And the result? That super talented person might get pushed to the side, not because their work was bad, but because they bruised an ego. And that idea of control leads us right into Law 4, which is so counterintuitive, especially today when we're all told to speak our minds. But the logic here is that when you choose your words carefully and say less, what you do say has more impact. People lean in, they listen closer, and it creates this aura of confidence, like you know a lot more than you're letting on. And yeah, that's really the core of it. Silence can be a huge source of power. It makes other people rush to fill the quiet, and in doing so, they often reveal their own plans and weaknesses, all while you get to remain a bit of a mystery. This is Law 5, and in our hyper-connected, social media-driven world, it has never been more true. A solid reputation is like a shield. It makes people want to be on your side. But we've all seen it happen. One misstep, one scandal, can just vaporize years of hard work. Guarding it has to be a constant, active job. Now, Law 6 is a bit spicy. The idea here is that being unknown, being invisible, is a form of powerlessness. In such a noisy world, just getting noticed is the first hurdle to having any kind of influence. This law suggests that being ignored is the ultimate kiss of death, and that even negative attention can be twisted into a position of strength, because hey, at least you're on the radar. Now let's see how this all connects. Because power isn't just about your image, right? It's about how you actually interact with people, your friends, your rivals, and everyone else. And this is where the laws get really, really practical. These laws get into the nitty-gritty of navigating that complicated web of human relationships. They really challenge a lot of the common advice we hear about trust and persuasion, and they force you to look at every interaction through a more strategic lens. Yeah, this slide just lays it all out, doesn't it? Law 2 flips conventional wisdom on its head. The argument is that friends can get lazy, they can take you for granted, and they're more likely to feel envy. But a former enemy? If you bring them over to your side, they have everything to prove. They'll often work way harder to show you they're loyal just to shake that old enemy label. It's a pretty stark, pragmatic view of what motivates people. Law 8 is all about flipping the power dynamic. See, when you're always the one chasing after people, you're automatically in the weaker position. But this bait strategy turns that around. You create something that other people desperately want, and you make them come to you. It saves your energy and puts you squarely in the driver's seat. Oh man, this one hits on a timeless truth. Trying to win an argument often just makes the other person dig in their heels. It stops being about facts and starts being about ego. So Law 9 says, take a different route. Prove your point with tangible results. A successful project, a finished product, that is a much stronger argument than any speech. Your actions become proof that no one can deny. This is the question at the core of Law 13. The book argues that, as much as we'd like to believe people act out of the goodness of their hearts, self-interest is just a more reliable and powerful button to push. When you need someone's help, Don't appeal to their pity or try to cash in on past favors. Instead, show them what's in it for them. It makes them a willing partner, not just a reluctant helper. Okay, so we've covered your public image and we've talked about how you deal with others. But none of that works without the final piece of the puzzle, the internal game. This is all about the mindset and the mental discipline you need to think strategically. It's about managing yourself before you can even think about influencing anyone else. So these laws are all about what's going on inside your own head. They're about controlling the flow of information, managing your emotional environment, and keeping a tactical edge through your own behavior. This is classic strategy 101. Think about a company like Apple working in stealth mode on a new product. By keeping everything a secret, they stop their competitors from being able to react. On a personal level, the same logic holds. If people don't know what your real goal is, they can't effectively get in your way. This slide really illustrates a powerful idea that emotions are basically contagious. Law 10 is a warning that things like unhappiness and constant negativity can literally infect you. If you hang around people who are always pessimistic, it will drain your energy and poison your own mindset. The law advises you to actively protect your energy by choosing who you associate with. Now, Law 17 is all about messing with people's expectations. We humans love patterns. It makes us feel safe. When your behavior is predictable, people think they have you figured out, that they can control you. But if you occasionally do something completely unexpected, it shatters that sense of comfort. It keeps them on their toes and gives you a subtle psychological edge. This one might sound like it totally goes against the other laws, but it's really about balance. Law 18 is a huge warning that building a fortress around yourself is actually incredibly dangerous. When you're isolated, you get cut off from crucial information, you lose potential allies, and you become a really easy target. Power is a social game, and you just can't play it alone. So, after going through all these themes, managing your image, your relationships, your own mindset, what's the big picture here? What's the main thing we should be taking away from all of this? At the end of the day, the central argument is this. Whether we like it or not, these power dynamics are always at play. The book's core point is that to navigate the world effectively, you have to understand human nature, our insecurities, our motivations, our egos. It's about recognizing the game that's being played all around you, even if you decide you're going to play it by a different set of rules. And this is the question I really want to leave you with. Understanding these laws gives you a kind of knowledge, a new way of seeing things. But with that knowledge comes a choice. When does a smart tactic cross the line into manipulation? When does protecting your reputation become just plain deceit? The laws give you the playbook, but how, or even if you use those plays, well, that's a question only you can answer. It really makes you think, doesn't it?